Stop setting goals. Do this instead. It happens every January. Millions of people sit down, write out their goals, feel a rush of motivation, and genuinely believe this time will be different. New year, new plan, new version of themselves. And by February, almost all of it is gone. Not because they were lazy, not because the goals were wrong, but because goals, the way most people use them, are fundamentally broken as a system for creating change. And nobody tells you this because the entire self-help industry is built on selling you better ways to set them. Here's the truth. Goals were never designed to change behavior. They were designed to give you direction. And direction without a system is just a wish with a deadline. 1. Why goals fail. Think about the last goal you set. You wrote it down. Maybe you told someone. You felt motivated for a few days. Then what happened? Goals are outcome-based. They focus entirely on the end result. And outcome focus creates one specific psychological problem. Your brain registers the goal as a future state, something that doesn't exist yet, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels so wide it paralyzes you instead of pushing you forward. And even when you reach the goal, the system collapses. The diet ends, the savings get spent, the books stop, because the goal was the finish line. And once you cross it, there's nothing left to run toward. 2. Systems beat goals. A goal says, I want to run a marathon. A system says, I run 30 minutes every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, regardless of how I feel. A goal says, I want to save $10,000. A system says 20% of every paycheck moves automatically before I see it. A goal says, I want to write a book. A system says, I write 200 words every morning before I open my phone. The goal gives you the destination. The system gets you there. And here's the critical difference. A system works even on the days you don't feel like it, because it doesn't depend on motivation. It depends on structure, and structure is still there when motivation has long since disappeared. Winners and losers often have the same goals. What separates them is what happens on the days when nothing feels worth doing. The person with a system shows up anyway. The person with only a goal waits to feel ready. They never do. 3. Identity is the real engine, but even systems aren't enough on their own, because a system you don't believe in is just a schedule you'll eventually abandon. The deepest level of change happens at the identity level. Not what you want to achieve, not even what you do, but who you believe yourself to be. Most people start with outcomes. I want to get fit. Then they work backward to behaviors. I'll go to the gym, but they never change the belief underneath. They still see themselves as someone who doesn't really exercise, someone who's trying to be different. And that gap between behavior and identity creates constant internal friction. Every workout is a battle. Every healthy meal is a sacrifice. The shift is small, but everything changes when you flip it. Instead of, I want to read more, I am someone who reads every day. Instead of, I want to save money, I am someone who lives below their means. Instead of, I want to get fit, I am an athlete in training. Every action you take after that becomes evidence for the identity. Every skipped workout contradicts it. The behavior stops being a task. It becomes a defense of who you are, and that is a completely different source of motivation, one that doesn't fade. 4. What to do instead. Stop writing goals, start writing systems. For every outcome you want, ask one question. What is the smallest repeatable action that moves me toward this? And when exactly will I do it? Not, I want to get healthier, but I do 10 push-ups every morning immediately after brushing my teeth. Not, I want to learn Spanish, but I spend 15 minutes on vocabulary every night before I put my phone down. Not, I want to be more productive, but I write my 3 most important tasks every evening for the next morning. Small, specific, attached to an existing routine, non-negotiable regardless of mood. Then ask a second question. Who is the person who already does this naturally? And what does that person believe about themselves? Start believing that first, before the results arrive, before the evidence accumulates. Because identity shapes behavior far more powerfully than motivation ever will. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And you stay at the level of your identity. Change the identity. Build the system. Forget the goal. The results will follow. They always do.